Modern Warfare 2 Estate. 2 spawn points, one at the top near the house, and one right down the very bottom near the abandoned barn type garage slash thing. Don't quite know what it is. Been playing on these maps for so many years, I still don't know the contents. But it's like a barn garage, sort of, whatever. Anyway, basically everybody wants to make their way up the hill to get in house. You'll notice I sort of venture down the middle and pick people off as they make their way up, as they're sort of sitting ducks, because I've got the higher points and they've got the lower points. But my teammates will all venture into the house and congregate there because it's a nice chill out area. It's nice, let's go in, let's watch some TV, keep warm in front of the fire and put some toast in the toaster. Whereas the opposition, unfortunately, it's almost like spawning with your pants around your ankles. It's like, oh god, we've got to make our way all the way up this hill because we all want to get into the house, but the guys are already going to be in there and they're going to pick us off as we try to access that nice warm house and steal their toast. 2 really good, clean, effective maneuvers in Warfare. The first one is the element of surprise. So if you imagine you've got a group of guys that put their guns down on the floor and they're sitting around an open fire and they're chatting away, eating their packeted food, and all of a sudden the sand around them comes to life and out jump these Marines and shoot every last one of them, and they're like, oh wow, we wasn't expecting that. That's really took us by surprise. Bravo, as you put a bullet in my head. And the other one is also taking the high point. And obviously I always think when I start this map, because I didn't want to play this map at all, I don't like Estate, even though I was pleased with this gameplay, pleased enough to upload it here, I always think, oh, please let me be at the top, please let me be at the top, please let me be at the top, and normally I'm right down the bottom and think shit, because you're, like I say, you're already there with your pants around your ankles, bending down to pick up the soap out of the shower. But if you start at the top, you've got the advantage straight away and you're probably going to win the game. You think of all the old-fashioned castles that we have in England from thousands and thousands of years ago, not just in England but everywhere. Most of these castles were erected on top of hills because it was a smart thought manoeuvre where they'd build the castle and say, right, okay, we can all stand out on the portcullis. If anybody advances towards us, any enemy, we can just pick them off at height with cannons and arrows and burning hot tar pouring it down their face. And they're going to consistently have a struggle trying to breach this castle. So yeah, it's a bit of a bum map, but like I say, take the high points and you've probably won the game. There you go. See, it's an educational channel. So next time you walk into the street and say, right, I'm ready for warfare, as you nip to the shops to get some paper, you can stand on top of a bin and say, come at me guys, because I'm standing on top of this trash can. I'll punch you all in the... Oh, I can't reach. Oh, you smashed my uncles in with a bat. Didn't quite work. Never always works, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, before I crack on with this commentary, first of all I want to give a big shout out to a guy called Boston Chaos. Now Boston Chaos, the link to his channel is going to be in the description. He's a sub who's been a long time sub of mine and sort of started his own channel. I did feature him on the Legion of Epoch channel a few times and he kind of went down very well. And I was noticing that his channel wasn't quite doing as well as he would like, and I felt a bit bad, I felt bad for that, and he was kind of asking me to look at his videos, and I thought, hey, once in a while I'm going to do this now. I'm just going to give a random subscriber a shout out who I think probably deserves a bit more viewage and a few more subs maybe. So like I say, his link is in the description, go and check him out. He's, as you can guess from the title, fucking Boston Cast, mate. He's a bloody Aussie, and he's from fucking Boston, I think. So expect a lot of bad language, Keithy. Like fucking Chopper Reed. Fucking hell, Keithy, whinge, as I slashed your throat. Have a fucking smoke, mate. As he headbutts his mother-in-law. Look, your fucking mother's upset. Some of you guys who haven't seen Chopper, that's one of my favourite films, and I'm probably talking absolute garbage. If you haven't seen Chopper, go and watch it. It's fantastic. Eric Bana gives an Oscar-worthy performance. So yeah, Boston Chaos, link in the description. Please go and check him out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. He's got some good stories to tell. Now I was thinking about probably doing this as a kind of part 2 to my last commentary, as you'll see from the title, because in the last commentary I talked about trick shotting, trick shotters being banned from Advanced Warfare, and I didn't know why that was. I'd only received these messages through tweets, people saying I've been banned and trick shotting and all this lot. And obviously there was a lot of people who had more information about this, and they said no, it's not actual trick shotters and trick shotting that is causing the bans. What these trick shotters, this certain faction of trick shotters are doing, is they are jumping off a building, doing a 360, but they're actually jumping to their death. Because that was the one thing I was confused about. I thought, well, how can they die? You can fall from any height in Advanced Warfare and you don't die. But what these guys do is they jump off the map from a building and do a 360 no scope, and they're basically trying to get that one shot that will get them 1 million subscribers and they don't have to go to fucking work again. And that's what I'm led to believe. So yeah, that's the whole reason behind that. So there was a lot of viewers confused about that. There was some people rejoicing as they pumped their fist in the air and says, yes, damn those trick shotters, at last fucking Sledgehammer has seen them for what they are. No, it's not the actual trick shotters, but it is the way that some of them are doing it. And I've never seen anybody doing that myself. I've only ever seen it done once, and that was in a game of Modern Warfare 2 from a YouTuber or a streamer called iTips, who was a complete prick basically. But yeah, he done this 360 no scope off the tower in high rise, you know, the tower crane, done the 360 no scope off that and hit a wall bang, and then started screaming and celebrating like a 10-year-old kid, when in fact he was about 24 or something like that. So that's the only time I've ever seen it. I've never had it done to me. But what Sledgehammer are apparently doing, and like I said, I'm just sort of giving you a news update on this, what they are doing is they're sort of looking into people's kill death ratio and score per minute, and they're saying, oh, that looks suspicious, that looks a little bit out of turn. He seems to have died more times than he's killed. He must be doing something terrible. He must be reverse boosting. And that's what they're getting it confused with. They think these people are killing themselves deliberately to sort of lower their score per minute, when realistically, like I say, they're actually just trying to get that 1 million subscriber boom from getting that one hit kill. Now that sort of leads me to another question, is that look at this gameplay in the background, for example. We absolutely train wreck these kids. We train wreck them. There is no way they can come back from what we are throwing at them. Pretty much, you know, our team have sort of got it together. I sort of go a bit ballistic and a bit haywire and lose my way a little bit towards the middle of the game where I take too many chances, but as far as I was concerned, I got my AC-130. I was happy with that. Oh, by the way, the AC-130, you might have noticed that it was a little bit all over the place. For some reason, my controller seems to have adapted a mind of its own. It seemed to keep throwing the thermal viewing up. I don't know why it was going into thermal imaging. It's going to be spasmatic, so I had to kind of throw it across the room and teach it a lesson it'll never forget, as it broke into 2 pieces. So now I need a new controller, which isn't good. But yeah, it was on its way out anyway, because the R1 button wasn't working, so I can't throw grenades or knives. And it was the final nail that drove into the coffin. But, you know, you look at the guys on the other team on this game and they're getting murdered. They're getting absolutely murdered. And it's the same in Advanced Warfare. There are people that genuinely can't adapt to that game. They can't adapt to the game style. They can't adapt to the boost jumps. They can't adapt to the whole flow of it because it doesn't feel like a normal Call of Duty. And these might be people that have struggled in Call of Duty's past but now are really struggling. And they've got like 0.20 KDs because they just can't advance forward. They might be the victims of this, you know, these might be the people, and these might be some of the messages I'm getting. No disrespect to anybody who has sent me this message, but that could be your answer. It could literally be down to the fact that you're probably not that good at it and you've got a low score per minute and they just think you're doing something untoward. Stupid, I know, and there's far more important things they can be concentrating on, but hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles. So yeah, that's your answer. It's the trick shotters that are doing the suicides off the building to get that one shot, and it seems that a lot of people are getting punished who probably just aren't that good at the game, that they think everybody's reverse boosting, and it's not necessarily the case. So yeah, that's me done, guys. Hope you enjoy your weekend. I am just about done here. I'm going to go and enjoy my Saturday night. Have a good one. Apocalypse done.